The one with the soap opera party is the 20th episode of the 9th season of Friends. This is directed by Sheldon Epps, and as always there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. My notes might be a little bit scattered with this one. I started off noting them by part of the episode, but then everything kind of blended together. So my notes might be a little bit chaotic, but I'll try and keep some structure here. So there will be spoilers from now, and Rachel asks Monica if it's possible for two friends to fool around and not have it be a big deal. Monica says no, and this is because Rachel's still thinking she might actually be interested in Joey. And I'll be honest, I find this to be really boring, not just in this episode, but just in general. The whole Joey in love with Rachel, Rachel thinking of kissing Joey, it's just a little bit ridiculous, and it didn't need to happen, and I don't care for it. So not a really huge fan of that part of the narrative. Ross meets Professor Charlie Wheeler. We have the introduction of Charlie, played by Aisha Tyler, and he's supposed to be showing her around as she's a new professor there, and they're actually supposed to be waiting at Central Park for another professor to turn up, and it seems like Ross was about to get away with just the two of them, and the other professor turns up. And Ross's response to that was very funny. And then we do have a really funny scene where they're at a restaurant, Charlie and Ross and Professor Spafford, played by Ken Lerner, and he is telling them a story, and he is boring them so much, and it is so funny. Not a situation I'd like to be in, but as a viewer, I rather enjoyed it. And they flee, which I don't necessarily agree with. It was very rude, but nevertheless, they did leave the situation, and over the episode, we learn a little bit more about Charlie and the fact that she's dated influential people, Nobel Prize winners, and Ross no longer feels like the most intelligent person because he believes that she's dated people who are better than him, I guess, because they've won Nobel Prizes, he hasn't, and it's an interesting look at Ross's response to that, and it was not too bad. I think it was also a nice way for us to get to know Charlie. We learn quite a lot about her in a relatively short space of time. And then we come to Joey. And I rather enjoyed this part of the episode. Joey's agent has got him 6 tickets to a play, but Joey said he can't go, he has to work. The others seem to buy this. And then Rachel overhears a voicemail message revealing that actually on that very night, Joey is having a secret Days of Our Lives party. And apparently he does it every year. And he obviously lets Rachel go because she's aware of this now, so she then pretends that she can't go to the play because she's sick. And she tells Monica, and then Monica makes her take off her robe to reveal she's dressed all fancily underneath. And then Monica knows the truth, and she immediately tells everybody because she's enraged that Joey would have this secret party. Joey then comes in wearing a robe, and they tell him to open his robe because they obviously assume he's dressed smartly underneath as well. So he does, he opens his robe, and we don't see anything, of course, but it's very clear by everybody's reaction that he is fully naked underneath. And that was also the first time Joey met Charlie, so that was quite an introduction. And they all go to this party, but they didn't tell Chandler. They forgot to tell Chandler. So Chandler's front row about to see this play on his own, wondering where everybody else is, and the performer comes on stage and says, "Why don't you like me? Chapter 1, my first period." And Chandler can't leave. He is stuck there, which is rather funny. We then cut back to the party. It's a nice environment, really busy. It looks very well designed. There are a lot of tables, and it looks very fancy. It looks like a lot of effort went into this. And Rachel is getting loads of guys' phone numbers, and Joey said that none of those people were good for her, which I thought was quite sweet. Again, they're maybe hinting at there could be something between Joey and Rachel there. And then Chandler turns up. And he said actually the play was great. It took some time getting into it, but he really liked it. And I really wish I could remember the first time I watched this, because I don't know whether he's believable or not. And we'll come back to that in a moment. Phoebe then says some really great things to Ross. We have some great dialogue between Phoebe and Ross as she's really supporting him, helping him to realise that it doesn't matter if Charlie has dated Nobel Prize winners before. What matters is the here and now. And Ross is going to ask Charlie out, I guess, and Rachel tells Monica she's going to go and kiss Joey, and just as both Rachel and Ross are about to look for Charlie and Joey, they find them kissing, which obviously makes it a little bit awkward. And then we have the ending of the episode. Chandler has bought tickets for the others to see the play. A few of them are sitting there at the front, of course. And the performer walks out again. And at that moment, Chandler runs. Because, of course, he didn't enjoy it. And he's punishing them by putting them in the same position, which I don't blame him for. I do not blame him for that, because they forgot about him. So, fair enough. Granted, he had to buy the tickets, but apparently he thinks the torture is worth the cost of the tickets. And yeah, I wish I could remember when I first heard him say that actually it was a decent play. I don't know if it's believable or not. It's not meant to be believable in that sense, of course. I think it's just meant to be setting us up for then what happens later on. But I think it's a decent episode in some ways. As I said, I'm not loving this whole Joey and Rachel thing. It's just, maybe as a one-time thing it would have been fine, but then with Rachel bringing it back up again and digging up Joey's feelings, I feel like it's unnecessary. Great introduction to Charlie, and I thought Professor Spafford was a pretty great character. I really liked him. I wish we got a little bit more out of that character. And in general, while it's not my favourite episode, the one with the soap opera party is still a decent episode of Friends.